All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. There is a possibility that the NCAA tournament could soon be expanded and put me in the category of people being against it. An NCAA committee could soon announce the suggestion to expand the 68 team men's basketball tournament to 96 teams. But if you're the NCAA, why mess with a good team thing? Now, the tournament was expanded to 64 teams back in 1985. In 2001, the 64 team field went to 65 with one playing game. And by 2011, it got to its current line of 68. But when is enough truly enough? We already have a system in place with 32 automatic qualifiers as conference champions, whether it be from the regular season or the conference tournament, to go along with 36 at large bids, which, in my opinion, is more than enough to decide the best basketball team for that season. Now, in my opinion, adding more teams to this tournament would diminish the importance of the month of February on the schedule as well as the conference tournaments. I mean, you think about it, and especially when the calendar shifts to February, the intensity in so many of those conference games across the board goes up to another level because it is so important um, to win those games to try to further position yourself for the NCAA tournament. And of course, we see it time and time again where teams head into conference tournament week on the bubble. And you know what? Their performance at their respective conference tournament could make them or break them in regards to their tournament resume. Doing this would just further water down the system. And I'll say it like this: if you're going to go out there for the NCAA and expand this field from 68 teams to 96 teams, then you got to get rid of the other postseason tournaments as far as the NIT and so forth. Because how often now are we seeing teams get to the NIT and other postseason tournaments? They barely have a winning record. And for me, you got 68 teams to make the tournament. You have over more than 300 Division One men's basketball teams. That's more than enough. We have the season, which begins, late October, early November. That's more than enough time to figure out which teams are worthy or are not worthy to get to the NCAA tournament. Now, some coaches are for it, some are against it. And at the end of the day, if the NCAA tournament did decide to expand the tournament, once again, it would be nothing more than a money grab, just like the expanded college football playoff. And if you've listened to me over the past several months about that, I've been against that. Obviously, I don't have a seat at the table for that. I'm just expressing my opinion on it nonetheless. But for this, I think it would just be watering down a good thing because you look at that first weekend of the NCAA tournament, there's so much excitement there. You look at conference championship week across the board, there is so much excitement there. And at the end of the day, when is enough enough? Typically now, with these mega conferences, and I'm talking about the Big Ten, the SEC, of course, the Big 12 is set to have 14 teams next year. Of course, with Texas and Oklahoma hanging around for one more year. You think about other conferences that have 12 and 14 teams as well. Typically, when you watch these conferences, when it comes to the tournament, they're typically getting seven, eight, nine, and in some cases, 10 teams to the tournament. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to pave the way for an entire Big Ten conference to be in the NCAA tournament? Are you going to pave the way for an entire SEC conference to be in the tournament? I think it is a total waste. It's nothing more than a money grab. We have more than enough time throughout the college football season to figure out who's who and what's what. And just like I said before, all you're doing is watering down your product. Parity is here to stay in college basketball. And I've talked about this recently. I think the proof was in the pudding. If you watched the most recent NCAA tournament, no number ones even got as far as the Elite Eight. We saw a number one seed in Purdue go down to Fairleigh Dickinson. No number twos made the Final Four. No number threes made the Final Four. You had a four in Connecticut who won it all, a pair of fives in Miami and San Diego State, and of course, Florida Atlantic as a nine seed. But nonetheless, parity is here. So if you think that this is going to be a way to try to protect the blue bloods and protect their brands, this, that, and the third. It ain't happening. It's just one of those things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the powers that be could try to go out there and fix something with this tournament that really does not need fixing. Across the board, people are going to say that the ratings are down. My personal opinion, I thought this was one of the most exciting NCAA tournaments that we've seen in recent years due to the upsets and the unpredictability. But nonetheless, why tinker with a good thing if you're the NCAA? You don't need to add additional teams. You have a 14 play-in, 4 games, playing games for the NCAA tournament. And if you wanted to tweak something, what I would do as opposed to having, some of those one conference qualifiers, having to fight for their seat at the table in the field of 64, why don't you make those 4 playing games all about the at-large teams from the power conferences? Let them all go out there and scrap to try to get to the field of 64. I think that would make things a little bit more exciting, but you don't need to go out there and expand this field to 68. Again, I don't have a word in this. I don't have a seat at the table. I'm just dropping my opinion. And like I said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.